Hello and welcome back to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. Now, we talk a lot here, don't we, about makeup and beauty. Bit of a clue, nothing on my face at the moment. So we talk about things from lipstick to foundation, eyeshadow, mascara, and then we also share the tips and the tricks to use them to help us get the very best out of our makeup products. But what we haven't covered before, however, is how to ensure that our look actually lasts all day. Yeah, there's nothing worse, is there, than heading to the bathroom only to notice that there's a big black smudge where your eyeliner once was, or that your bronzer has all but disappeared. And we might notice especially this a bit more now as the weather gets a bit warmer, and it can be all the more challenging to keep everything looking fresh, can't it? Well, I'm super excited today because I have one of my favourite people back here with me in the studios. Yep, the fabulous Rupert Kingston, co-founder and creative director of the brilliant makeup brand Delilah, one of my personal favourites. Rupert.
Hello, Liz.
It's so nice to have you back.
It's nice
Thank
to
you,
be
thank
back.
you, thank you.
Thank you so
and you're
much.
going to rescue my face, my completely naked
I don't think
face.
it needs rescuing, but yeah, I've certainly got some lovely products to show you today. And as always, some great tips and yeah, some great application techniques.
Amazing. And you know, I do think maybe it's an age thing as well, you know, perimenopause, menopause, all of that. Skin gets a bit hot, a bit flushed, and as the weather warms up, I find my makeup kind of sliding off, not looking as fresh.
All right, well, you're not alone. We hear about that type of thing a lot. And I've got some great tips and techniques today, but also what order to use your products in and how to apply them is really going to help.
Fantastic. Well, I have to say that just before we get started, that Rupert and his amazing team are offering us a brilliant 20% off everything that we use today. 20%, that's right.
That's
off
right.
Everything with Liz Loves. So let's get going then. Come on. What are you going to put on first?
Okay, well, tell me, you've done some skincare already,
Just
right?
a bit of moisturiser.
Just a bit of moisturiser. So this is the advice I always give. Do your moisturiser, then leave your skin for 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
Especially in the warmer weather, you really want your skincare to absorb in a little bit so that your makeup is not melting into your moisturiser, because you will find it'll start to slide off. So give your skin 5 or 10 minutes. If it's early in the morning, go and have some breakfast, do your hair, come back and then start your makeup.
Okay.
Okay, just before you apply makeup, and this is great in the warmer weather, we're going to apply our Wake Up Skin and Makeup Mist. So close to me. So a couple of spritzes onto the skin, packed with hyaluronic acid. It's a very, very fine mist. It's going to give you what we call that kind of contact hydration. So even though your skincare is giving you that deeper hydration, we want the top layer of the skin to be nice and plump. So we mist that on. It's going to give you a really, really nice glow. And within a couple of seconds, you're ready to start your makeup routine.
Smells nice too.
Doesn't it just? Okay, so we're going to start with primer. If you want your base to really stay in place, you need to prime properly.
I'm so bad. I don't always use a primer.
Okay, so someone said to me recently, in fact, that they thought that you had to pop a primer on and then leave it for kind of 5, 10, 15 minutes. That's not the case at all. 1 or 2 pumps down the center panel of the face, and it should just take you about 30 seconds to blend it all in. And this is going to give you, think of it as a kind of layer between your skincare and your makeup, something for your makeup to float on top of and then kind of grab or grip hold of so it really stays in place. And look at that, within about 20 or 30 seconds, we've primed the skin. The skin looks glowy already, but we've got something for our foundation to grip onto. So,
is it going to make it last longer?
Absolutely. That's the reason why you'd apply primer. Your skin will look better, the makeup will go on more easily, and most importantly, your makeup's going to last longer. Cool. So listen, while we're priming, let's quickly talk about one of our newest products, and that is the Wake Up Under Eye Perfector.
I love this.
I know you've been enjoying this.
Seriously, I found this in my makeup bag the other day, and I thought, oh my gosh, do I use this under the eye or on the eyelid? So I ended up using it everywhere.
And that's fine.
Great.
That works really well. And I love it when people kind of rediscover a product as well. So I'm glad under your own steam, you've kind of fallen in love with using this.
It's really good.
Okay, so let's talk about it, because I think lots of people are nervous about using concealer. And I think if you feel like when you put concealer underneath your eyes, the skin under the eyes look worse, almost kind of crepe. You can see those fine lines. Sometimes going for a product like this works much better. So looking straight up for me, Liz, you can tap this underneath the eye. And again, packed with...
Is it one shade, or do you have to choose?
It's just one shade.
Okay,
it's
great.
super, super hydrating. We've got an algae extract in there that energizes the underneath of the eye. But what you get is this really nice hydrated look underneath the eye that's kind of light reflective. So actually that kind of light reflective technology helps to kind of cancel out any shadows, and you may find that you don't need any concealer at all. Now you were asking, does it go above or below?
Yeah.
Well, you can do both. So close to me, we're going to apply a little bit on top of the lid.
Because I liked it as a base for eyeshadow.
It's perfect for that. And again, it means that you've got something on the skin that's going to grab the eyeshadow and really keep it in place. And certainly in the warmer weather, one of the things that we find is that our eyeshadow starts to transfer and move around a little bit, and nobody tells us, and we all walk around looking like a sad panda until we pop into the loo and we've noticed that our eye makeup's moved. So a little bit of eye perfector on first and just blend that in, and do you know what, that looks really nice on its own. So even if you're not doing anything on your skin, you just want to brighten the skin
just
up,
a bit
this
of
is a great
something.
routine. So what we've done is prep the skin ready for makeup.
It's a bit like you put your underwear on.
Exactly that, yeah. And everything is going to go right once you've got your underwear
Never go out
right.
without your underwear.
Never go out without it
seriously.
on. Let's not go there, Liz. Okay, so next we're going to do foundation, and we're going to use time frame foundation. I've been using this on you for a while. It works really well. The colour we always use is Shell. It suits you perfectly. Time frame is a fluid foundation. I'm literally going to do like a pump on the back of my hand. Now you can apply with fingers, but I do like to apply with a brush. And this is from our new range of more sustainable brushes.
Love them.
And the foundation buffing brush here, you can find fits right into the cheeks, into the centre of the forehead and the chin. Do your 4 dots and then just buff outwards.
Okay,
So
4 dots and buff outwards.
Buff outwards. What you don't want to do is start all your foundation in one area and then move to the next area, because you'll have a lot in one place, not very much anywhere else.
That's a good point.
So when you've worked a bit into your brush, dab your 4 points and then you can start to buff outwards. And we really want to focus the foundation in the centre of the area and then blend outwards so that when we get to the hairline or to the jawline, we're blended away. Now I would say, do the nose last. I think lots of people start with their nose. They put some foundation on their nose, then on their cheek, then on their nose, then on their forehead, then on their nose, on their chin and on their nose. And so you end up with too much in the centre of the face.
Yeah.
With what's left on your brush, just buff around the corners of the nose. And then I'm going to ask you to Yeah, thank you. And then we can just come through the centre of the lips. And I think just sort of one and a half pumps.
That is so natural looking.
Has a really clean
gosh.
skin-like finish to it. Now, if you want more coverage, this is your opportunity to come back and another half a pump. And let's pop a little bit on just to show how that works. Pick it up. And what I would say for coverage is pat. So you're buffing that first layer, the second layer, and often we can be a bit pinker in the cheeks here. If you want to take that back, just pat, just bump the brush onto the skin to build that coverage up, and we can be a little pinker on the chin there.
How long have you been a makeup artist?
I daren't say 30 years.
30 years? What, as a small child you started?
Well, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. The check's in the post. It's one of those things where one day you count it up again and you say, I've been telling people for a long time as a makeup artist for 20 years, and it's been another 10 years, and now it's been 30 years.
And how old is Delilah?
So Delilah was 10 last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Your
Can you
baby is
believe
10.
it? I know. Can you believe it? You know, we're really lucky. We're really thrilled that we've got some products that people love.
Yeah, for sure.
Our community and your wonderful community has supported us. So thank you for that.
It's just great. And you know, it's not luck. It's you have great products.
Well, that's really kind of you.
You know, it's very easy to sell one thing once, but it's when they come back and buy more and tell others.
And we're always so touched and so moved because people, they come, they leave great comments on the website. We've learned so much about our own brand by the products that people have fallen in love with. And we love to listen to that feedback. What do people find challenging to do?
But I'm always on the phone saying, please, can I have another one of these?
Yes,
you are.
And we always deliver.
We do. I love it.
Deliver. Okay, look, so that is your base done. Now, earlier I talked about concealer, and I know that we've done some videos before. I don't often talk about concealer, but I want to talk about it today because it can be really useful. And I've got our Take Cover Concealer, which is a fuller coverage concealer. And I'm going to do a little dot onto the back of my hand there again. And this is a great tip. I think the mistake that people make with their makeup is they put too much on their brush or on their fingers, and they spend most of their time wiping it back off, right? So I think by just using the back of your hand as a palette, it feels quite makeup artisty, which is quite good fun. But also you're able to control how much goes onto the skin. So I'm going to use like a mini version of the foundation brush. This is the concealer buffing brush. And I'm going to go, now here's the trick. Okay, and let's be really honest, none of us likes those kind of fine lines around the eye there, and that's where we find it really challenging to put concealer. So I would say don't put any concealer there. Stick to the inside corner of the nose here, where we can be a little bit bluer. Sometimes it can just be a little bit in this triangle here. Sometimes we're a little pinker around the corner of the nose here, so buffing on a little bit there as well. And then sometimes there's a little dark section at the corner of the eye here that you can pick out too. And as always, less is more. Yeah. And then just really using that brush. And of course you can use a finger here too, but really buffing that out is going to give you a nice flawless finish. And here's the thing, Liz, do you know actually putting lots of makeup on, it won't last. Yeah. If you put too much makeup on, of course it will just slide back off again. So if you can do very, very fine layers, it'll set onto the skin and it will really, really last. So
could you reapply this if you needed to?
Of course you can. Yeah, you can touch up throughout the day, and it's a nice light fluid concealer. Look up for me. Again, for you, it's just in that inside corner. So it is easy to grab it, keep it in your bag. There's a little sponge applicator. You could just dapple it onto the eye and then press it out. But this is really going to perfect. Now, if you don't want to use foundation, if you're on holiday and you've been out and your skin's looking great, you just want to use a little bit of concealer. Yeah,
that's what I do sometimes.
That's a really great way to go. So look, that's your base done. Great. There's a couple of steps I want to do before we move on. And the next is blusher. Oh, I love it. Now, I love a liquid blusher, but people are often confused. One, how do we apply? And two, when do we apply? So this is what we call the wet phase of the makeup, right? So our foundation, we've not put any powders on. No. So while we've got, and it could be your tinted moisturiser, you could have just put some concealer on, but while we're in what we call that wet phase, we can apply liquid really easily. This is our newest colour, Liz. This is called Tiger Lily. And our theme for today is those kind of corally tones. Love that. So this is a really beautiful, and you're wearing a lovely coral top, almost like we lined it up. Wow. A nice corally colour, which can look very fresh and really youthful on the skin. So a little bit onto the back of my hand again. And we talked about this before with some of the other shades of In Bloom. But what I would do is, instead of smiling, I would relax your face. So they often tell you smile and put on the cheek, but I think it ends up too low. So just relaxing your face, we're catching the front of the cheekbone and we're applying a little bit and blending it backwards. So not too close to the nose and not that kind of go faster stripe round the side either, but somewhere here, just on the cheekbone at about here. And you'll find that it'll blend on really, really easily. The colour is very, very sheer. And
that's a lovely colour.
It'll melt.
It's just a flush, isn't it?
Exactly that. And, you know, I think one of the things I want to talk about today is how great coral can be. I think people feel nervous about it. You know, I certainly remember when we were wearing oranges. Yeah, it's not 30 orange years ago. But it's not. It's that lovely. It's called Tiger Lily. Tiger Lily. And it is a beautiful flush of colour onto the cheeks. And for me, the base never really looks right until you've got your blusher on. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, lovely. Very, very easy. And also I recommend, I think if you've got more mature skin or drier skin, definitely these liquid formulations melt into the skin and look more dewy throughout the day. They do. So the last step, and I realise I've done quite a lot of steps here, and for me it's a smorgasbord. Just pick what you think will work well for you. But I want to use a little bit of powder because again, I think it's something that we feel a bit nervous about. Love your powder. But if you want your base to really stay in place, especially as it gets a bit warmer, the secret is loose powder. The trick is to use a very small amount. So back in the day, when I trained as a makeup artist, we used a powder puff. Do you remember those? Yeah, all over. Pat the powder puff all over and then we buff it all off, right? And you would get that kind of chalky Sweeney Todd look. Not a great look. What we want to do is just use that powder wherever you glow. So choose where it is that you want to glow by using a smaller brush. Small brush, okay. This is the finishing brush. Whenever you watch makeup artists do powder, they always use a smaller brush. And I like your cheeks looking a bit gleamy and a bit dewy, but I think you're a bit what we call hot. through the forehead here.
Yep.
So I'm just going to roll a little bit on. Definitely through the nose. We can end up a bit shinier there too. I want to set my concealer, and then I'm going to just come through the chin and just either side there. Now, sometimes, let's be really honest, you can end up a little shinier over the top lip when you get warm as well.
Yep, yep.
So just rolling a little bit of powder on there and then giving a really good buff will just take that sort of hot sheen down, but it'll also mean that the base will start
And actually, my cheeks look more natural.
Right.
Because they're still glowy and pingy.
And I think that's what you want. You want it to look kind of three-dimensional. You want your cheekbones to kind of pick up the light. No, definitely not. So just choose where you want to glow by using a smaller brush and pushing our translucent powder in. And you're going to love the way it feels. We call it Pure Touch because it feels, just feel your forehead.
It's a great powder.
Super silky
I have this,
and super,
in my makeup bag.
smooth.
Yeah, I love it. Translucent, will that work for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And I think that that's important as well. A loose translucent powder is a great thing to have because you can apply it once and it will really help sit on your skin and absorb shine throughout the day.
And then if you do get a bit of a tan in the summer or whatever, you can still use it.
Yes.
Because it's translucent.
Or you could switch to a matte bronzer. I mean, if you, as well, that can work really, really nicely too. So that's your base done completely. The next thing I want to move on to is eyes. I always like to try and keep this simple because I think eye makeup can be the most challenging part of anyone's makeup routine. So I think keeping it simple is the way to go. We're going to feature our beautiful smooth shadow sticks for two reasons. One, they're easy to use. Two, once they go on, they really, really stay in place. And I think if you do suffer a bit with that transfer of eye makeup, this is definitely the route to go down. The first colour we're going to use is called Honeymoon, and again it's got that beautiful bronzy,
that's so pretty,
coppery tone to it. And actually this one does have a slight shimmery base to it. And I would say don't be too frightened about wearing colours that are a little bit shimmery. I would say this, I think if you're really concerned about the eyelid looking, I'm going to say textured, because I think that's the right way to say it. I think if you're concerned about texture on your eye, then stick to more of the matte shades. If not so much, it's really nice to use something that's got some light to it. Now, all I'm doing, Liz, is I'm literally just scribbling this over the moving part of your eyelid, and then I'm blending it with my ring finger. I'm going to do that again. But
nice, it's a bit of shimmer, but it's not glittery.
It's not too glittery, and it just brings some light to the eye, and it's that peachy, corally undertone, nice kind of fleshy, sandy colour. And all I'm doing is scribbling it all over, as you can feel the moving part of the lid from the inside corner to the outside corner, and working my way upwards.
Very soft. Is that really going to stay put then?
It will really, really stay put.
Nice.
Yeah, we do lots of testing with our formulations because. Yeah, I think eye makeup is one thing you don't want to be touching up throughout the day. It needs to go on and it really, really needs to stay on. And these will stay on easily up to 8 hours and beyond.
Nice.
So what I've done is just blended that over the moving part of the lid. I haven't used any brushes whatsoever. I've scribbled the colour on and then just blended with a ring finger as well. We talked about this before, but when you're doing that, you're going to want to tilt your chin up, raise your eyebrows so that you can see your eyelids. Exactly like that, and raise your brows, keeping your eye open and rocking that colour backwards and forwards.
Nice.
What you can't do is keep one eye closed and one eye open. Yeah, that's not going to work. Like a scary pirate. Okay, the second colour I'm going to use is Hot Chocolate, and this is a matte brown, and I just want to give the eyes a little bit of definition. And actually for this colour, I'm going to use an eyeshadow brush too. So do me a favour, Liz, look straight into the mirror for me. I think when you're using darker colour eyeshadows, you really want to keep them to the outside corner of the eye. So I'm going to place a little bit of this chocolatey colour into the corner of the lid, almost drawing a tiny little triangle, let's say.
Yeah.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to buff that colour across the lid, buffing inwards.
Clever.
Now, I think the mistake that we tend to make is we tend to brush outwards
the other way around
with our eyeshadow brush coming out, and it tends to pull the eyeshadow too far this way and creates a downturn to the corner of the eye. So what you want to do is make that corner of the eye nice and dark, right in the corner, and then either use a finger or a nice fluffy brush and just blend that inwards.
Brush it in.
Over the lids.
Yeah.
And then what we got is a little bit of definition, a little bit of darkness in that outside corner. So I'll repeat the same again, just close to me. I'm going to draw a little triangle just in this corner here. and you can feel like I'm dabbing it on. I'm not being too specific. You don't need to worry too much. Scribble it on, because then you've got some play time, because it starts as a cream, and as you blend it, you'll feel it'll kind of grab the skin, and you'll get those nice smoky corners to the eye. Now, if you want to go smoky, if you want to turn this into more of an evening look, you can just apply more of that dark colour, and in fact you can blend it further across the eyelid. But I think this is really nice for a touch of definition.
Lovely. Really nice.
And then what I'm going to do, Liz, and this works really well on you, is I'm going to run a little bit underneath. So looking straight up for me, I'm going to start where that little triangle is, and I'm going to dab this. And if you need to blink, Liz, you just blink away. I'm going to run a little bit in between to about 3/4 of the way across.
Oh, nice.
And again, I can just grab a brush here, or I can use my finger, and I'm just going to blend that last bit in. So I would say this. I think if you're concerned that you've got smaller eyes, don't come too far across. You can stop about halfway, but do make sure you blend that line. I don't like to see it looking like a hard full stop in the middle of the eye. Whereas if you feel like you've got a larger eye shape, don't be afraid to take this colour all the way underneath the eye. So I'm using the double-ended brush, which has a small pencil-shaped brush at the end, which works really nicely. I'll show you that again. Looking straight up, I'm starting from the outside corner, and I'm almost pushing in between the lashes, and I'm bringing that round to about 3/4 of the way. And again, just switching out from my pencil-shaped brush from the double-ended brush to give us that definition.
Nice.
Great. Let's
Really
look.
nice.
Yeah, nice and easy. It just helps the eyes to pop. Very, very easy to do. And what I love about that, Liz, is it's really going to stay in place.
Nice. Do you do your wife's makeup every morning?
Every morning.
Every morning.
Every single morning.
Before she leaves the house.
We rise at 4 together. And she flicks through the iPad choosing a look.
Yeah, okay, great.
Do you know, it's actually just become one more thing for us to argue about. You know, sometimes I do. If she wants a smoky eye, then I will do something like that. And of course, we're always testing products as well. So I'll often test products on her.
But lovely.
But no, not every morning. Don't put that idea in her mind.
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, we can scrub that, cut that bit.
Okay. So I want to show you a couple of eyeliner tricks. We talked about this before. I really like a nice
I love that. That's one of my favourite
chocolate.
things.
The colour is called Twig. Don't forget you've got a pencil sharpener at the other end here.
So clever.
So you want to keep that nice and sharp and hygienic. So do give it a twizzle from time to time. This is a really, really neat trick. These products are ophthalmologically tested, which means they've been tested by an ophthalmologist. Look down to here for me to make sure that it's completely safe to go next to the eye. Yeah. Even if you wear lenses, just pop a little bit. I'm running that into the lash line. So I'm picking up, and instead of we call it tight lining, instead of tight lining underneath the eye all over, I'm just rubbing it into the root of the lash, Liz. And again, a little bit more in the outside corner works really, really well. So I'm popping that with my thumb. But again, my trick is to raise your eyebrows, look down into the mirror, look straight up your nostrils. And then what you can do is you can fit that right into the root of the lash and just do press some little dots. Look up your nose, yeah. Check if there are any bats in the caves. And I'm pushing that up and underneath. So it's very, very subtle.
And it's a soft texture. I can't even feel
it glides onto the eye, but it makes a real difference. And again, these are waterproof. They're long wear. So once they go on, they'll really, really stay in place.
That is one of my favourite things.
Well, I've got something new to show you.
Okay, great.
Because in the same formulation, I have a new colour. It's called the Eye Brightening Pencil. Ooh. And this is a kind of lighter, flesh-toned colour. Now, we're suffering with a bit of hay fever today. Yeah, and often if you get a little bit of hay fever, you can get a little pink inside the eye. Also, I think if you feel like you've got a smaller eye, this is a great trick. So look straight up for me. I'm going to run a little bit of this eye brightener just along the lower lash line. And just a small amount here, Liz, is going to knock out that pinkness. We just look at one with.
Look at that. My eye looks so much bigger.
It really just opens the eye up.
That is a great tip.
So again, these are waterproof, So once they go on, they'll really, really stay in place. And you don't want too much here. Just stick to that outside corner. You don't want to put lots on the inside, but it will just
Oh, I love
brighten
that.
the eye up.
That is going to be my new favourite thing.
So that's the eye brightening pencil. It's the same soft formulation that you love, but it's great for just inside the eye.
Really good.
Okay, so we're going to finish the eye with mascara, and I've got a different formulation to use today.
Ooh, which
Normally
one?
we use Intense, we're going to use Definitive. And the reason why we're going to go for Definitive is if you are the type of person who feels like your mascara shifts quite a lot, you probably need something that's a lighter formulation. So something that's not too heavy and too volumizing. And Intense is more volumizing,
Right.
and it's great. But I think if you've got a shorter lash, a bigger brush works really nicely. And what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little wiggle. So we're rolling in and catching those outside lashes first. And this is a much more natural looking mascara. So it's great to wear in warmer weather.
Nice.
It's nice and light and fresh.
Yeah.
I'm going to push that into that inside corner and then look into about here for me. And as I say, this bigger brush does a great job of separating the lashes out. So we get that illusion of length. Because if you've got a shorter lash and you use a fuller looking mascara, to be honest, the lashes will look clumpy and then they'll look shorter.
Yeah.
They won't actually look longer.
Nice. Very nice.
And then what we'll do is we'll just do a little touch underneath as well. Just from a hygiene point of view, I do give these mascaras to Liz. They are brand new.
Excellent.
So anyone who's worried about hygiene, we crack this open and, oh, bless you. I told you, she's got hay fever today.
Hay fever.
That's right, she's allergic to me. What can I
Oh,
say?
no.
Okay, looking straight up, I am going to pop a little bit underneath.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. That's very natural looking.
Yeah, nice, soft, fluttery
lovely.
lashes to just completely frame the eye. And as I say, this formulation, I think, will really stay in place in those kind of warmer months.
Great.
All right, so no eye is complete without looking at eyebrows. And what I'm going to do is, again, a product that I know you love and your community love, which is our brow shape. And it is like a tiny little brown mascara.
Tiny.
Now, this colour is called Sable because most people's brows are a little bit darker than their hair colour. And Sable is this nice sort of warm grey-brown colour. And all we're doing is just brushing a little bit through and you've got nice fluffy brows anyway.
But I use this to set them in place.
Exactly that, yeah. So just combing them through, and comb for a little longer than you would think, actually. Just keep combing them through until the formulation starts to set in place. And then just the other side as well. And you'll find, actually, on you, Liz, on this brow here, you're a little bit more sparse in the middle, if you don't mind me saying. I know, don't worry, I won't tell anybody.
Up close and personal, that's the thing.
Exactly. So just I'm applying a little bit more in the centre of that brow first.
To fill it in.
To fill it in. And then just a little bit on that tail there. And now what I'm going to do is just come to the centre of the brow here a little bit. And exactly, yeah, what we can do then is just set the brows into place and keep them looking nice and fluffy and soft.
Yeah. Yeah, I do love that. That is always in my makeup bag, actually.
So if you are not blessed with beautiful fluffy brows, it is quite nice to use a pencil as well. And this
use that on the ends.
This is a very, very fine pencil. So just in that area where we said was a little bit sparse, we can add a little bit more colour here. And as you say, just extend that out. You know, you may know this, but if you think corner of the nose to the corner of the eye, that's actually roughly where your brow should stop. But don't get too hung up on that, because what you don't want to do is overextend that and again make the eye look kind of downturned. And what you're trying to do here is just dot a little bit in here and there to fill the brows out and to trick the eye. You really don't want that kind of drawn on look.
Nice.
Little spoolie brush at the other end, so before you're done, just have a final buff through so that it all looks very soft and really natural.
Lovely. Lovely.
Okay, so the last part of this beautiful coral look is, of course, a gorgeous coral lipstick.
Look at that colour.
Now, we've talked about lipsticks a lot in the past.
We have.
And I know you tend to play it quite safe. I did twist your arm into wearing red.
You're about the only person in the whole world, apart from Kerry September, who's got me wearing red.
I know. Kerry September and I have talked about it quite a bit as well, the controversial red. So I'm glad, actually. And, you know, I think you can have fun with lipstick a little bit. I think sometimes it's worth going out your comfort zone and trying something a little bit brighter. This is a brand new colour from us called Siren.
Siren.
Better get it right. It's called Siren. And it has a nice coral undertone to it, but I think a pop of colour works really, really nicely. Okay. Liz, I'm going to ask you to pop that on yourself, actually. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly right. What
Bottom
I would say
first?
is always do the bottom first.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got it.
Got that right.
Yeah, we must have done this before. So apply a little bit onto the bottom. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask you to just roll together. So just press that out together. And the reason is, I think when you're doing brighter colours like this, don't put too much on to begin with. Put a little bit on the bottom lip and just press it out. I'm going to get a bit makeup artisty now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to buff around the edges there.
Nice.
But yeah, what we've got now is just this nice, fresh kind of pop of colour. Now, again, if you're scared about the colour, a little bit on the bottom lip, press the two lips together.
Great, that's
so that
not
you
too much.
don't get too much on the lips, and then you'll get this nice, fresh kind of corally tone. Now, what I would say is, walk around with the lipstick on. Don't make a judgment on it straight away. If it's brighter than you normally wear, put it on and catch yourself in a few different mirrors around the house, you know, before you decide to just wipe it straight off. And then you might feel brave enough to actually put a little bit more on as well. I like it at this level, but listen, just for fun.
I'm liking it.
Let's just put a little bit more. So what I want you to do now is just, you're going to put a little in the center of the bottom lip.
Okay.
And then you're going to press together again. And that's enough. And just press that together for me again. So this is how, if you just want to push that colour up a little bit and dress it up, I think that looks fabulous on you. Pressing together again for me. Now, if you get nervous when you've put your lipstick on, you can always grab a tissue and blot a little bit off at this point. Or you can do that magic trick where you pat a little bit onto a finger and then add some to your cheeks as well. That works really, really nicely. But look, this is a great kind of fresh look that works great for spring and summer. We've used some formulations that are really going to stay in place. I love to finish the makeup with a final mist of our Wake Up Makeup Mist. And it's going to do two things. One, it's going to enhance the glow. Two, this sounds strange, it's going to hydrate the makeup. And actually when your makeup is well hydrated, it actually stays in place a little bit longer. So we get that nice. Keep it in the fridge in the summer months.
Yes.
Whenever you're feeling a bit hot, go and grab it from the fridge.
Love it.
A little mist over. That is our beautiful coral summery look.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that so much. And some new favourites in there for sure. How about you? Any products you've got your eye on? Don't forget that we have got that brilliant 20% discount off at Delilah. All you need to do is to enter the code LizLoves at the checkout, and I'll make sure that we link everything below in the video description too. Well, as ever, do let me know in the comments what you think about today's look. I would love to hear. Lipstick? Yes? No? I think it's a winner. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel to keep up with the very latest from me and from my team. Until the next time we see each other, go very well. Bye-bye.